Good evening, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching, it is appreciated. There's a lot of media spin and media talk this afternoon all about everybody's favourite royal, Prince Andrew. That he's lost his titles, he can no longer call himself the Duke of York, and his bint, Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, can't use her titles either. I want to be clear, the titles have not been removed. There's been no legal change to anything. That can only occur with Parliament's consent, and they would have to pass legislation. The only thing that's changed is Prince Andrew is elected not to use the titles. So he still has them, he's just not going to use them. So it's like somebody being a doctor and not actually using the title. That's all it is. And yet, on all the media channels, it's wall-to-wall coverage, and it's all about Prince Andrew this, Prince Andrew that, about the alleged contact with Epstein. All of this nonsense is covering the media headlines at the moment on GB News, Talk TV, ITV, BBC, they're all at it. And it's a distraction from the important issues that are flying under the radar, which is what to inform you of. I think many people that watch my channel, I don't want to insult your intelligence, you probably know all this anyway. It's a diversion, it's a distraction, that is literally all it is. The King, Prime Minister, they're all saying, look at Prince Andrew, look at naughty Randy Andy, look at him, look at him. What they don't want you to talk about is this. They don't want you to talk about the fact that the Home Secretary knew that the Israeli football fans faced a ban, and they knew this last week. It's about media manipulation and narrative control. If they reverse the decision that's been made by local authorities in Birmingham to appease the Muslim electorate, then they will say, look, diversity is a strength. Look, the government did something right. It's all about narrative manipulation. If the government actually had people's interests at heart, they would have just done this anyway. They would have made sure that the Israeli fans could go. But they didn't do that. They want to use it to curry favour with the electorate. It's bullshit like this that gets in the way. I first noticed this manipulation from the media and the government. I first noticed all of this when Theresa May went up to Scotland when she won the general election to speak to the First Mistress of Scotland at the time, Nicola Sturgeon. And there was like media headlines about who had the nicest likes out of Theresa May and the Poison Dwarf up in Edinburgh. And I was like, how is this politics? What is the point of talking about the legs? What is the point of it? I really don't get it. The issue is the reason why the SNP run rampant in Scotland, again, is a distraction. It's a distraction because constitutionally Scotland can't leave the United Kingdom. The union between England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland is not part of any devolution agreements. So when you get the Scotnats up in Scotland saying, oh, we're going to break away, we're going to... I'd like to see you try. In fact, if I was Prime Minister, I would be frog marching the military up to Holyrood, arresting many MSPs, like I think his name is Ross Greer. He's a leftist green lightweight. The nation that returned Winston Churchill to Westminster, now got that. That's not a shot. That's not a come down. That's a fucking collapse. Anyway, I digress. The point I'm getting is it's all about distractions. They're trying to not want you to focus on the actual politics of the country. They want to distract you with meaningless drivel. Let me move on to this one here. Family farm tax rumours rubbish by the Treasury Minister. That's Angela Eagle, and that is a very, very clever name, because she's not the brightest of the bunch, and she's up in the north as well. She's a Liverpool MP. The farmers went to the government with a reasonable proposal. Holdings of under 5 million would be exempt from the farmers' inheritance tax, because we've already lost 6,000 farms since this was announced last year, and people that can actually afford to pay, the people with holdings of over 10 million, would pay their share. The government rejected that outright. Despite the national outcry, despite everybody not wanting it, they're going to do it anyway. And to add insult to that injury, they're actually going to force the farmers to sell their land to local council developers lower than market value. Which is, again, that's atrocious. This is communism, and nobody voted for this in my opinion. And then you move on to this particular issue as well. Anyone noticed that the digital ID apps appeared on the phone already, as it would have been pre-installed, and many people might not even have checked? They're rolling things out like this behind the scenes. They're not making any media fanfare about it. They're not doing anything like that. It's like the assisted unaliving act. How much airtime did that get in the House of Commons? How much airtime did that get in the public discourse? It was quietly pushed through in an afternoon. And then finally we got onto this one here. The UK, this is Labour MP, I forgot her name, but she's a Newcastle MP. She warns a repeat of the 2024 riots unless online misinformation is tackled. Science and Technology Committee says that says that compliance over social media content puts people at risk. What they mean is that they can't control narrative anymore, which is why they throw the slop out like the thing with Prince Andrew. It's slop. It's meant to appease people so you don't ask the big questions and you don't actually do any critical thinking. Narrative control is important for a government to maintain credibility. This government has no credibility because it cannot control any narrative because it's all available online. That's where the public discourse is now. It's all online, and this is what they cannot stand. Anything they don't agree with, anything that they find problematic, and when they say problematic, they mean it damages the public. What they mean is it damages your perception of them. Always look at the fine print, always look at the detail. Never believe the government line because it's not going to be the actual policy. All of these policies have gone through here, like digital ID, the farmer's tax, the assisted unaliving bill. Do you think these are brainchilds of people in Parliament? No. They are the brainchilds of the globalist elites, and they get top-down imposed on countries that never voted for it. This is why we left the EU. These are just my thoughts. Don't buy the Prince Andrew story. It's never about that. It's always about something else. And again, they were very obvious that they've linked him to the China spy thing. That was, that Keir Starmer was having problems with over the past few days. Why? Because if they can fit him as the fall guy, somebody is already essentially in public exile anyway. It means that the government can again just point over there and say, "Look at him." That's your scalp for this particular issue. It's all comically transparent, and please be aware of it. I give my viewers a lot of credit. However, a word to the wise, or the people that are yet awake. Have a good afternoon, and I'll see you later.